Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Hope everybody's having a great day. I've got a really cool story to share with you. All right. I know we've talked about a lot of random guns here on the channel, but have you ever heard of a heart attack gun? That's right. A pistol that can induce a heart attack and leave no trace behind. It was a weapon that was developed by the CIA during the Cold War, and we're going to talk about it. I found this really interesting article I want to share with you here. It's from a place called All Things Interesting, and I stumbled across it, thought it would be a good read, so let's check it out and dive into this. Written by Morgan Dunn, the disturbing story of the heart attack gun invented by the CIA during the Cold War. All right. The heart attack gun fired a dart made of frozen shellfish toxin that would enter the target's bloodstream and kill them in mere minutes without leaving a trace. And here we've got a photo here. This is Senator Frank Church on the left holds aloft the heart attack gun during a public hearing. Now, from the looks of this, it looks like maybe there's a Leupold gold ring or maybe a little weaver on this thing. It's kind of got the look of a 1911. It looks like the trigger guard is a little bit larger than normal. So, you are talking, maybe a gloved finger could fit in there for clandestine operations and things like that. Obviously, there'd probably be some modified 1911 service holster that would be kind of modified to accept this pistol in some form of a holster. It's kind of got a dart gun kind of look to it. So, interesting. Let's learn some more about this. Really cool stuff. In 1975, more than 30 years of almost unrestricted CIA activity came grinding to a halt before Senator Frank Church on Capitol Hill. After the shocking revelations of the Watergate scandal, the American public had suddenly gained an intense interest in the activities of their intelligence agencies. Unable to resist the growing disquiet any longer, Congress was forced to peer into dark corners of the Cold War, and some of them had bizarre secrets. What they found was the stuff of paranoid thrillers and hair-raising spy fiction alike. Aside from plans to assassinate national leaders from across the globe and extensive spying on American citizens, investigators came across the heart attack gun, a macabre weapon which could cause death in minutes without leaving a trace. This is the story of what may be one of the Central Intelligence Agency's most chilling gadgets. Whew. Boy, when they want you, boys and girls. The heart attack gun is born of shellfish toxin. Mary Embry was the researcher tasked with finding an untraceable poison for a range of uses, including the heart attack gun. Wow. They're serious, ain't they, boys and girls? The roots of the heart attack gun lay in the work of one Mary Embry. Going to work for the CIA as an 18-year-old high school graduate, Embry was a secretary in a division tasked with devising hidden microphones and other audio surveillance equipment before being promoted to the Office of Technical Services. Eventually, she was ordered to find an undetectable poison. Her research led her to conclude that shellfish toxins were the ideal choice. Unbeknownst to her, Embry had been made part of Project NK in Nomi, a highly secretive program dedicated to crafting biological weapons for the United States Cold War arsenal and successor to the far more infamous Project MK Ultra. But while other MK Naomi projects were dedicated to poisoning crops and livestock, Embry's findings were destined to form the basis of the brass ring of black ops, killing a human being and getting away with it. Whew. This is getting deep. The development of the heart attack gun. The heart attack gun may have been intended for use on Cuban leader Fidel Castro, himself a survivor of numerous assassination attempts. Work began in a laboratory in Fort Detrick, an army base dedicated to biological warfare research since World War II. There, researchers under Dr. Nathan Gordon, a CIA chemist, mixed shellfish toxin with water and froze the mixture in a small pellet or dart. The finished projectile would be fired from a modified Colt M1911 pistol equipped with an electrical firing mechanism. It had an effective range of 100 meters and was virtually noiseless when fired. Holy crap. Talk about the golden goose for an assassin. Wow, 100 meters effective range out of a pistol? Wow. When fired into a target, the frozen dart would immediately melt and release its poisonous payload into the victim's bloodstream. Shellfish toxins, which are known to be completely shut down the cardiovascular system in concentrated doses, would spread to the victim's heart, mimicking a heart attack and causing death within minutes. All that would be left behind was a tiny red dot where the dart entered the body, undetectable to those who didn't know what to look for. As the target lay dying, the assassin could escape without notice. All right. And, of course, here's a photo, of one of the doctors there talking about the shellfish toxin. I guess that was part of the congressional hearing or whatever that they were given to try to reel in these people. The heart attack gun may have seemed like an outlandish idea for a spy novel, but the CIA had reason to believe it would work perfectly. After all, KGB hitman Bogdan Shashvinsky, I'm not very good at pronouncing Russian names, I apologize, please bear with me. He had used a similar, cruder weapon with success not once, but twice. In 1957 and again in 1959. Years after leaving the CIA, Embry claimed that the modified pistol known as the non-discernible micro-bionoculator, wow, what a name, had been tested on animals and prisoners to great effect. They tested it on prisoners? Holy crap, they tested it on prisoners, on live prisoners. All right, and then here's another image. We'll see. Among other things, the church committee investigated possible American involvement in the deaths or attempted killings of leaders like Patrice Lumumba of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Whew, scary stuff. Along with a number of other MK Naomi creations, the heart attack gun might never have been detected if not for a growing awareness of illegal activities carried out by the United States Intelligence Committee. When a New York Times article revealed a series of reports detailing illegal operations dubbed the Family Jewels, the Senate convened a select committee chaired by Idaho Senator Frank Church to investigate the depth of criminal intelligence actions in 1975. The Church Committee soon became aware that former President Richard Nixon had shut down MK Naomi in 1970. They also learned that Dr. Gordon, against the orders of Dr. Sidney Golub, that's another German word I can't pronounce, I'm sorry, the elusive head of Project MK-Ultra, had secreted 5.9 grams of shellfish toxin, nearly a third of all shellfish toxin ever produced at the time, and vials of toxin derived from cobra venom in a Washington, D.C. laboratory. The committee also investigated allegedly sanctioned assassination plans targeting leaders such as Cuba's Fidel Castro, again, the Patrice Lumumba of the Congo, and Rafael Trujillo, dictator of the Dominican Republic. Woo! When they want you, boys and girls. The end of CIA wet work. William Colby, far left, was critical of the Church Committee, arguing that it had placed American intelligence in danger. It's just some backstory, a little photo there. In a highly publicized hearing, CIA Director William Colby himself was called to testify before the committee. He brought with him the heart attack gun itself, allowing committee members to handle the weapon as they queried him about its development, nature, and use. What became of the gun after its single public viewing is unknown. Furthermore, whether the weapon was ever used is also unknown. The toxin may have been put to further use as a suicide pill for American operatives or as a powerful sedative, and was set aside for one operation. But as Colby claimed, we are aware that the operation was not in fact completed, as they say, of course. Particularly or partially due to the Church Committee's findings, in 1976, President Harold Ford signed an executive order forbidding any employees of the government to engage in or conspire to engage in political assassination. If ever there was an era of the heart attack gun, it came to a close when the order was signed, bringing to an end the CIA's most notoriously secretive and violent years. Well, that's highly debatable, boys and girls. Look, man, I am not going to sit here and think for 1 second that if they had that technology in 1975, just think about what technology they have now. You can't sit there and tell me that something like a heart attack pistol, something that is completely untraceable, something that is an assassin's wet dream to take out their target quietly from a distance and to escape completely undetected, that power is not something that they would greatly covet. Wow. I mean, I just think about how much scary stuff that they have now, right? Look at all the research we've probably done on toxins and things like that, and all sorts of things, and the delivery systems for those toxins. Don't think for 1 second that they don't have weapons like this that are probably way more dangerous and way more useful than that particular pistol would have been. Now, I have to say, it is clever to modify 1911. I mean, it would have made sense that in 1975, there was probably a heck of a lot of 1911 still sitting around in a bunch of armories, which I don't think we actually wound up adopting the Beretta M9 until the early 80s or something like that. I want to say around the early 80s. It's been a while. The point is, though, the 1911 would have been a pistol that they had ready access to, and it also seems logical that the 1911 would be the pistol they would use as a basis because the barrel is large enough with the 45 diameter bore that they could have sleeved it for a dart quite easily, in fact. And then all they'd have to do is just make an electronic ignition system. I would imagine, too, that since these darts were frozen, there was probably some type of a case that the darts would have to be kept in to keep them cold. And then they would probably have to be loaded into the pistol one at a time. I would imagine it would probably be a single shot. And they would probably have to wait until they were very close to, needing to use it to remove it from whatever cold storage. Now, I know you've seen movies like Jurassic Park, where Nedry had the shaving cream can with the little DNA samples in them from all the dinosaurs and everything. That's really not too far-fetched. They could have some type of small, clandestine cold storage device that would allow them to keep the darts, cold enough for them to complete the mission at hand. I mean, I don't think it would last several days or anything, but they could probably keep them cold for the course of a mission. So it's interesting to think, that was a serious idea in their minds. I mean, why not just snipe the person? Why not just shoot the person from afar with a regular rifle, right? Well, because if someone just dies of a heart attack, that's a pretty innocuous way for someone to go. And if someone wasn't trained on how to detect if these darts, these poisonous darts or these poisonous, melting bullets or melting darts or little shards hit you and left a very small mark, someone may overlook it and not see it and just think, oh, that was just a scratch or something, and may not think that it was some sort of a, clandestine operation from the CIA to induce a heart attack. I mean, who would think of that? Especially back in 75. People just weren't wired that way. So one thing I can say is that's pretty clever thinking on their part. And I never knew that we had a heart attack gun up until I found this particular article. And I wanted to share it with you. So, I'm not going to say for 1 second, I guarantee you they still have these things. And they're way better and way more effective and way deadlier than that particular prototype could ever be. So, I did look up some other images of other, let's just say purported heart attack guns, including, there's probably not a lot of images out there, but there are some others, and they all seem to kind of hold a similar type of idea, right? Some sort of electronic delivery device. Maybe it's pneumatic or pre-charged pneumatic or something like an air gun. But it's interesting to think, when you look at technology like the Gyrojet pistol and how cool that is, you're basically shooting little rockets. It's not too far-fetched to think. You also had an engineer called Dardrick, and at the day, he had the Dardrick pistol, which was really cool. So when you think about all these outlandish and odd delivery systems, and, you had a pistol that shot rockets, and then now you've got this that's electronic ignition that shoots a silent dart, it is totally not outlandish to think that today we have stuff that is way more deadly and way more scary. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this look into a clandestine heart attack gun. Thank you all for watching. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon.